with anybody who wasn't able to attend, so hopefully that's working. Okay, so the first thing, obviously we're very excited about the fact that Double Horizon is now available in Maars 4D for you to draw. I know this is a huge benefit to a lot of our users. Starting with the Horizon settings, first thing you may notice, and we are working on getting you a brand new US template or a North America template, is if you open the current USA template drawing, you'll notice the Double Horizon tab does not appear. If you have any drawings currently that you need to work in with the Double Horizon that are started from the existing US template, in order to get the Double Horizon to appear, simply click on and create a new scheme. And that new scheme manager, the pull down menu, or sorry, the tab will appear for you to start working in. Again, we are going to issue a brand new template for you guys all probably today or tomorrow, and that will have this part fixed, but just so you know how to fix it if you do run into it. Working within the scheme manager itself, the things you want to pay attention to obviously is your glass junction. Typically, we're going to default it to the polyplas option, and the glass edge we will have defaulted to the PP grinded, which is the polished edge option. The other items that you need to be aware of are the filling between the tracks, and this is your two options or three options are to have none, which would be leave you just a space. And then you have a solid, which is just our standard U profile, which would fill in the space between the two sections of Horizon wall, and then the slotted U profile. What's important to know about this slotted U profile is that it does show a little bit differently right now in the 3D window versus the actual perforation that you will be getting. And I will pull up a PDF towards the end to show you exactly what you will be getting. And then your next selection is your acoustic filling, which is sealed rockwood versus technocell. Now, when you want to specify an STC rating for your Double Horizon, there's really only the one option, the 51 dB. And because we have to match the tested solution, when you select the 51 dB, the options that you can select up here do not apply to that selection. So it will change your glass, but the tested solution for Double Horizon with 51 dB is exposed technocell. So if you look here, this is what you would get if you actually specified the 51 dB solution. It's the two pieces of the Horizon profile with the exposed technocell between it. Even if you were to, in the scheme manager, select a filling option or U profile option, it would not apply if you selected the 51 dB rating. I point that out because to work around, if you don't want to see the exposed technocell option, your workaround would of course be to go to your scheme manager, set this to none. You could change it to the 51 to force the glass selection you need, and then you could change it back to none, and then change these options up here to the slotted U and the technocell option. Then when you draw that solution, you won't have the 51 dB rating, but you'll get the technocell with the perforated U profile to cover that track. As I mentioned, the perforation that you're seeing here is different than the actual perforation. I need to find where I hid that. Give me 1 second. This PDF, and we will put this on wall as well. This PDF represents the actual perforation pattern you will get when you select the slotted U profile for Double Horizon. So it's not the sort of dotted perforation that, and I've asked the support team to look into correcting this because I know that if we send out this imagery, it could cause some issues at time of install with approvals or sign-offs. Let's see, what else about the Double Horizon that we need to go over? I do know Anne pointed out that if you happen to specify your project with blank anodized in double horizon, so I'm going to go ahead and change all my profiles here to blank anodized. The actual, what will happen when you specify this is the profile between is not available in anodized, so it will automatically change that finish to the 8087, the plain anodized look paint. So please be aware of that. Christian, yes, the 51, the tested DB version is no profile and but includes TechnoCell. So it would be exposed if you select just the 51 option. Anna, can you think of anything else about the double horizon specifically that I need to go over? Oh, the doors, of course. Sorry, guys. The doors, you need to go to the string 2 tab and specify the string 2 doors. Those will automatically snap into place. You can use any of the door types themselves with the double horizon, but you cannot use the metal line doors and you cannot use sliding doors on the double horizon solution. And I'm not sure if there's anything else specifically that I need to go over about the double horizon, if you can think of anything. A three-way? Sure. A three-way is really just the exact same as a regular horizon three-way. There's no open versus closed version. It's just the double horizon wall coming up at a T-junction to the perpendicular wall. No open connection, no. And then, of course, a regular 90-degree corner is the standard overlapping glass. And then when you want to connect it to another product line, so for instance, to string 2, it has the connection built in directly. I believe the only product line you would not be able to connect it to is Panorama. So you mean if you want to change this to an end cap option? I don't believe there is. If you want to have an exposed end that's not to drywall, I don't believe so. That I'm not sure if that could be done as a special or not. It's the standard. It's a standard U profile wall or click track wall connection. The details themselves should be available. Let's go ahead and create a detail. So you can see what that's going to be. So you have your standard, each of your double horizon walls would have the click track, and then you have the in this case, we specified a U profile. If you had the no profile option, it would just be a space between these two. No sliding doors on the are currently available as a standard on double horizon. Slotted look, sorry, let me open that. Javier, it might be possible as a special, but right now it's not standard. It'd be something we'd have to look into because they'd have to create a special door frame. Here is the actual image of this slotted profile that you'd be getting, the slotted U profile. So it's not the perforated image that's showing in Maars 4D currently. It's this image here. Yeah, as I said, it's something that they could handle as a special for the time being, but as of right now, even if you attempt to apply a sliding door, it won't actually attach to the double horizon walls. Michaela, I don't know that we would do that version as opposed to, if we're going to do it as a special, it would probably just be the standard Maars slider as a special. There would really be no reason to go to the Heiwa system because that would be completely separate from our wall system. Are there any other questions, or Anna, can you think of anything else that I missed going over with Double Horizon? U profile on the top, Ashley, just like standard Horizon. Let's double check. So we're in the string 2. I did the open door frame, and yes, you can apply that. And then Michaela, your question, let's stretch this door a little bit further. And you're saying you placed a door directly at the end here? And I assume you mean this visual right here. And I will have to advise if that's just a visual glitch in the system. I haven't seen this myself yet, but I haven't played too much actual doors in here. So I'm not sure if this is just a visual glitch, which I assume it probably is. Yep. Javier, you're saying, can you change the sizes of glass on one side of the wall only? No, you should be able to change the glass specs on each side. So if I select, they're basically 2 individual horizon walls. So you should be able to select this one, and I could change this one to say 10 millimeter tempered. And then if I swing around to the other side, I can change this one, just the same manage. I'll change it to 12 millimeter tempered. The seams you would adjust using the remodule tool, and it remodules both sides at the same time. Are you attempting to get the seams different on each side of the wall? I don't think we've ever had that request before, so I think the assumption had always been you would want the seams to line up. But that could be something you request as a feature request, the ability to be able to change the seam on one side of the horizon versus the other. Are there any other questions about Double Horizon? And if not, we can move to any other general Maars 4D update questions that you guys might have. Sure. Do these. And then you want me to go into the wall changer. I'll change 3 to 7 and 6 change to 10. Oops, wrong button. It seems to work, but Ashley, it could be an issue with an older, so obviously this is a brand new file that I'm creating from scratch here, and I believe what you're working in is an older file with the new updates. Anna, Ashley emailed me just before this and was having an issue where she was trying to do those manual changes to her elevation markers and it wasn't changing. Okay, let me try it again. And Anastasia, I'll get back to your question in just a second. Change these again. 12 and 15. You want me to hit OK instead of apply? No, it still seemed to work. Okay. Yeah, Ashley, can you send your file directly to Anna? Or to support, sorry. And then Anastasia, yes, we did go over that, but we'll review it again really quickly. So in the horizon, you'll have the horizon settings, and there's a double horizon tab. And to change the filling between the two pieces of wall, you have three options. You have no profile, and I'll draw one of each so you guys get a clear visual of what each one does. So I have this one selected with no profile. Well, it had selected no profile and techno cell. So let me take the techno cell off and redraw that. So if you select no profile and no filling, you'll get just two horizon walls with a space between them. Then your next selection is a solid U profile option. We'll move over here. And it's just a very solid U profile, and it would be filling all the gaps, so the floor, ceilings, and verticals. And then lastly, you have the slotted U profile option. Which currently in Maars 4D shows as a slight perforation, but is in actuality a slotted U channel such as this. So Anastasia, there's no other, the only ST value we have is there's one single tested solution, and that's a 51 dB. And what's important to know about that is if you select the 51 dB because we have to match it to the tested solution, and the way they tested it was with obviously specific glass types, but it's also with exposed technocell. So if you select the 51 dB, you don't have the option to add the U profile to it. Mandy, when you say the color of the solid field, do you mean the U profile itself? The solid between. That's a good question. Anna? If they want to change, if they wanted the solid U profile between, or even the slotted one to be a different color than their horizon profiles, is there a way to change just that finish? Because I don't see a setting for the U profile specifically in here. And I believe it's just taking on the finish of the ceiling or floor track or the U profiles. So yeah, it's going to take on whatever color setting you put here, with the exception of course, the blank anodized, as I showed earlier, because those parts are steel, not aluminum. They're not available in blank anodized. So if your profiles are specified as blank anodized, the system will automatically change the color of those profiles between the wall to the plain anodized look paint. What other questions do we have? Maria, correct. So if it's specific to if you select the actual 51 dB. So if you select 51 dB, because it has to match the tested report, and the tested report was strictly between these two types of glass and exposed technocell, which means you cannot add the profile to cover it up unless you possibly did it manually in an article list. But the easier workaround for that would be to select the 51 dB so that it forced, I'm going to go ahead and change this to just other glass types just to show exactly the steps I'm talking about. So if you came here, the first step you could do is to select the 51 dB just to force the two glass selection options here. Then you could go back and change this to none. The two glass options will remain, but then you could come up here and change the filling to technocell, and then technocell, I believe, can only be used with the slotted U profile. So you would add the slotted U profile as a covering for the technocell. Then when you draw it, you'll still have the technocell in your spec, and you'll have the covering for it. And your two glass types will be the glass types that were tested to meet the 51 dB. Yep. The transport method is not something that you guys even have. It's just in my version because I'm with Maars. So it's not something you guys have to really even worry about. Yeah, you might see settings in my versions that you don't even have access to when you guys open it. Any other questions? And just for those who might have joined a bit later, as a quick reminder, so we will be sending out a new North America template file to start all your projects from. I think it'll go out tomorrow. It'll be available to download from Wally, and you're going to want to replace your current files. And if you do have a project right now that you need to add double horizon into, or you're working from an older template file, likely what you will see is the current USA template file. The double horizon tab does not appear. There was a glitch with the template when the double horizon got added in. It was referring only to the old scheme manager. So the workaround for that, if you're currently working in an existing US template file, is just to hit the new scheme manager button, and then the double horizon will appear. This is corrected and fixed in the new version of a template file. It's going to be called Maars NA for North America template. Since we have our Canadian counterparts that can start to use the template as well, we wanted to get rid of just the US verbiage. And that will go out tomorrow for everyone to replace their current template files from. And when you start using that one, it will have the double horizon tab in it automatically. Are there any other questions? Kamaya, not that I'm aware of. Every time it's come up, I've had to request total yardage from the back office. Okay, if there's no other questions, then we can close out this webinar. I've recorded it, and hopefully this recording works this time. The last time we attempted to record one, it didn't work. But if it does, I will make sure it gets up onto Wall-E so you can reference it back again. And thank you all for attending.